This is one of my favorite topics and I wanted to share this with all of you, and I'm sure you'll love this video. And please feel free to comment your thoughts. So let's start. What exactly is Lord Vishnu's 8th avatar? We know that Sri Mahavishnu took several avatars over various yugas. Whenever adharma crosses its limits, he appears in various forms to set things right and restore cosmic balance. Out of his numerous avatars, Puranas mention 10 avatars to be his primary forms, known as Dashavataras. But there is a small inconsistency in this list. In North Indian tradition, the list goes Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, and finally Kalki. Whereas in South Indian tradition, the list goes Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Balarama, Krishna, and finally Kalki. So, what exactly are his primary 10 forms? Before we come to a conclusion, we will analyze this in depth so we understand the technical details of the ancient text. First and foremost, let's understand where these primary 10 avatars are mentioned in the ancient texts. Puranas such as Agni Purana, Padma Purana, Garuda Purana, Linga Purana, Narada Purana, Skanda Purana, and Varaha Purana mention the Krishna and Buddha version of the Dashavatara list. Garuda Purana actually has two lists, one with Krishna and Buddha and another with Balarama and Buddha, while the Shiv Purana carries the Balarama and Krishna version. Now comes the missing piece to this puzzle, the Vayu Purana. The key to this theory replaces some avatars with Dattatreya and Vyasa. The reason why this is important is it fits the time frame and logical explanation for these avatars in the right order. Before we continue, let's understand yugas and the number of avatars each yuga contains. These numbers are not just random. These are structured divisions of each yuga. Let's start from Kali Yuga. This yuga is the smallest time frame. This yuga contains 4,32,000 human years. In other words, Kali Yuga has one face. That's why we have only one avatar of Lord Vishnu in this time frame. That is Kalki avatar. Next, we will move back to one yuga back in time, before Kali Yuga. We are now entering the next phase in this timeline analysis. Dwapar Yuga is the yuga that comes just before Kali Yuga. This is where many major events in our epics take place. This yuga has span of 8,64,000 years as mentioned in the scriptures. This duration is clearly defined in the traditional yuga calculations. Exactly double the time frame of Kali Yuga, which shows a structured pattern. So this is not random but part of fixed time division. That means this yuga has two phases within its time cycle. Each phase can be connected to divine intervention. That represents two avatars of Lord Vishnu in this yuga. So we should logically expect two major incarnations here. That represents two avatars of Lord Vishnu in this yuga. So we should logically expect two major incarnations here. Lord Krishna is the accepted avatar in all Puranas without any contradiction. There is a strong consensus across traditions about his presence, and the godly avatar, who is considered a complete manifestation. He plays a central role in guiding Dharma during this period. The other avatars that are mentioned in this time frame are Vedavyasa Maharshi, Balarama, and Buddha avatar. These appear across different texts and traditions with slight variations. But before we finalize the avatar, let's understand the picture completely. Now let's keep this list and move forward with the analysis. Now we will move one more step back in time to the next yuga. This takes us to the Treta Yuga in this sequence. Treta Yuga comes before Dwapar Yuga in the time frame. This yuga has a much larger time span compared to the previous ones. This yuga has a total duration of 12,96,000 years. This is again part of the structured yuga calculation. It is exactly 3 times the duration of Kali Yuga. So we can clearly see a consistent pattern forming here. That means this yuga has 3 phases within its cycle. Each phase again represents a divine intervention. That represents 3 avatars of Lord Vishnu in this yuga. So logically we expect 3 major incarnations here. Lord Rama is the most well-known avatar from this yuga. He is clearly placed in Treta Yuga across all traditions. Parashurama is another important avatar associated with this period. He appears earlier but continues to exist across yugas. The third avatar connected to this yuga is Vamana. His story also aligns with the events of this time frame. So Treta Yuga clearly fits the pattern of three avatars in sequence. This strengthens the idea of structured avatar distribution. Now we will move forward to the earliest yuga in this sequence. This takes us all the way back to Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga is the first and longest of all the four yugas. It represents a time where Dharma was at its peak. This yuga has a total duration of 17,28,000 years. This is the highest time span among all the yugas. This is exactly 4 times the duration of Kali Yuga. So the pattern we observed earlier continues perfectly here. That means this yuga has 4 phases within its cycle. Each phase again connects to a divine intervention. That represents 4 avatars of Lord Vishnu in this yuga. So naturally, we expect 4 major incarnations here. The avatars Matsya, Kurma, Varaha and Narasimha are placed in this yuga. These are considered the earliest forms of Vishnu's interventions. These avatars are more cosmic in nature rather than human. They deal with larger universal imbalances rather than social ones. If you observe closely, the number of avatars perfectly matches the number of faces. This shows that the distribution is not random, but highly structured. So from Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga, we see a clear descending pattern, 4, 3, 2 and 1, which aligns both time and avatars together. Now that we have reached the origin of the time cycles, let us move forward again in time. But this time, let us look at it from the perspective of evolutionary science. If we observe carefully, the sequence of avatars also show a pattern of evolution. This is where things starts to get very interesting. Matsya represents a sea creature in this sequence. We know scientifically that the life first began in water. Kurma represents a creature that can survive both in water and on land. This reflects the transition phase from aquatic life to amphibians. Varaha represents a complete animal form that lives on land. This aligns with the development of terrestrial animals. Narasimha is a form that is half animal and half human. This can be seen as a symbolic transition between animal and human evolution. Vamana represents the dwarf form of a human being. This can be connected to the early stages of human development. Parashurama represents the aggressive and wild nature human. This reflects a stage where humans were powerful but not yet fully civilized. Rama represents the civilized and ideal human being. He stands for discipline, order, and the complete development of human values. After this stage, we see figures like Vedavyasa, Balarama, and Buddha who represent higher knowledge and spiritual growth. And then comes Krishna as the complete God, followed by Kalki, who may represent a future transformation beyond current human understanding. Now that we gain full foundational knowledge on this subject, let us analyze this topic technically. We will now approach this problem step by step using logic and structure. First, let us organize these time cycles and avatars in a pyramid form. This will help us visualize the distribution clearly. At the base of the pyramid, we divide it into 4 sections. Here we allocate the avatars of Satya Yuga in order. Above that, we place Treta Yuga with its 3 phases and avatars. Then we place Dwapar Yuga and finally Kali Yuga at the top. Now the entire structure becomes very clear and easy to analyze. We can now focus specifically on the 8th avatar. For now, we will consider the 3 possible avatars in this position. They are Vedavyasa, Balarama and Buddha. The reason why we are focusing on the 8th avatar is very important. This is where the main contradiction exists in the list. We know that after Lord Krishna's avatar is completed, Kali Yuga begins. This transition is clearly defined in the timeline, and Kali Yuga has only one primary avatar, that is Kalki. So any avatar after Krishna cannot be part of the main Dashavatara. This clearly tells us that Krishna is the ninth avatar. He is the final avatar of Dwapar Yuga before Kali Yuga begins. That means Buddha, who appears in Kali Yuga after Krishna, cannot be the eighth avatar. So logically, we can remove Buddha from the list. Now we are left with two possible avatars in this position. That is Vedavyasa and Balarama. Logically, the eighth avatar must appear before Lord Krishna. Both Vedavyasa and Balarama fit this condition in terms of timeline. But now we need to go deeper into the structure of phases. As we said earlier, each yuga is divided into phases. Balarama and Krishna are born almost in the same phase of Dwapar Yuga. This leaves the earlier phase without an avatar. Now let us look at the nature of Balarama. Many Puranas clearly state that he is the incarnation of Ananta Adisesha. In his previous life, he served as Lakshmana, the brother of Lord Rama, and in the next life, he is born as the elder brother of Krishna. Just like we do not consider Lakshmana as an avatar of Vishnu, we cannot directly consider Balarama as a primary avatar of Vishnu. Both Lakshmana and Balarama are known for their short-tempered nature. This is a quality often associated with the great serpent form. They are also described with white complexion in the texts. This represents the form of Anantasesha, also called Shvetavarna, whereas Lord Ram and Lord Krishna are described with a blue complexion. This represents the original form of Lord Vishnu, known as Neela Megha Shyama. There is much more depth to this topic which can be discussed separately, but for now we can logically move forward. So based on this reasoning, we can rule out Balarama as the eighth avatar. This leaves us with one final candidate, that is Vedavyasa, as the eighth avatar of Lord Vishnu. And this fits perfectly with the structure. First, Vedavyasa was born much earlier before Lord Krishna. This allows proper spacing between the phases of Dwapar Yuga. Second, in terms of evolution, after the complete human king comes the sage. This represents the path of knowledge and wisdom. Many kings in history eventually leave their kingdom for this path. This shows the natural progression of human evolution. And after this stage comes the divine state represented by Krishna. This completes the evolutionary and spiritual cycle. So both in terms of time and evolution, this sequence fits perfectly. This makes Vedavyasa a strong candidate for the eighth avatar. This video is not about denying traditions or sentiments. Every form is a form of Lord Vishnu. In fact, every part of this universe is a manifestation of him. He is the entire existence itself. This discussion is about understanding Sanatana Dharma deeply and technically. It is about asking questions and exploring knowledge. At the same time, we respect all traditions and beliefs, whether it is Buddha in North Indian tradition or Balarama in South Indian tradition. At a higher level, every form belongs to him because the entire universe originates from him. Om Namo Narayanaya. Let us continue to explore and understand with respect and clarity.